Good morning. I am Dr. Ozlem and I'm really happy to join this event organized by Ibero-American Geology and Mining Services Association, ASGMI, through its group of experts in geochemistry. I'm really happy to join you as a part of the speaker on this seminar connected with the geological services, experts in geochemists, and international and national experts focusing on the importance of geochemistry in their services. So I'm Ozlem. I work for UNESCO Earth Sciences sector. I'm a structural geologist with geochemistry and earth observation expertises. And I work for UNESCO for nearly now 5 years, looking after international geoscience program. Today, I will present you what we do at UNESCO related to today's webinar and your work. And I'm aware that there are a high number of experts in the area who will provide very important speeches after me. So I'm really pleased to be as part of introduction team. And I would like to also deeply thank Maria, who invited me to this webinar as part of the IGCP program. And I'm grateful to collaborate with Maria, Alekus, and several well-known geochemists all around the world. So I'll project my presentation and explain you the point of International Geoscience Program and the work we do together. So let me share my screen. I think you have my full screen, hopefully. Yes. So yes, I'm here to explain you today International Geoscience Program and GeoParks program connected with that, and global geochemical mapping. So my agenda will be why UNESCO works on earth sciences and earth heritage, and the connection of our work with UN Sustainable Development Goals, and very especially our career scientists. And at the end, our collaboration with the community of UNESCO and global geochemical mapping community. So as most of you know, UNESCO is United Nations Education, Science and Culture Organization. We are based in central Paris. We are going through our general conference actually. Currently at UNESCO headquarters, we have 193 member states joining us to establish our remit agenda and work packages for the next 8 years. So a very busy period we're going through, and we are happy that we are hosting 190 member states at UNESCO headquarters these days. So we celebrated last week 75th anniversary of UNESCO. UNESCO's constitution was adopted exactly 75 years ago, just after the Second World War, to cement peace between countries, protect human rights, and improve life standards. So this remit is today very connected and interconnected with the Sendai framework for disaster risk reduction, Paris Climate Agreement, and UN Sustainable Development Goals, which I will explain you briefly during my talk. So I'm really keen to explain you the UNESCO's remit. I think that will really connect what your webinar, this events, objectives with the local communities and society. So UNESCO is education agency. From all aspects, we've been established to promote and create equal opportunities for education. We work on sustainable development of societies, which is very well connected with today's lecture, webinars on geochemistry, and women. So gender equality is a very important part of our work, and we do our best to create equalities in scientific communities. And culture is the best connector for the peace. When we understand each other's cultures, we will bring peace, and of course, natural resources. So this is what we do, what I do in my team, and UNESCO has been focusing on for long years, sustainable use of natural resources. working very closely with indigenous communities. So this webinar is organized by Latin Ibero-American groups, where we have very high number of indigenous knowledge, expertise for the natural resources and sustainable development. And we are working very closely with these communities. And of course, today's biggest challenge is climate change and geohazard. So UNESCO has been working with international scientific community for a long time to tackle these issues. And geohazard, so I don't need to say the region hosting this event is one of the biggest activities located geohazard. So UNESCO has an extensive experience on that. And in a nutshell, to bring vision to our world, this cannot be without education, science, and culture. And as we all agree, science is in the middle, at the center of all of these activities. And I'm really happy to work in UNESCO's national sciences sector, bringing these aspects with the science and connection. So geoscience, most of us are geologists today, part of geological surveys, geological societies, and geochemistry world. So we know these connections. I think as scientists, as geoscientists, for us, it's very clear that Paris Climate Agreement, Global Sustainable Development Goals, and Sendai frameworks define the way politicians and public view 21st century current challenges. From our perspective, maintaining the environmental sustainability of our planet is the fundamental to our future and well-being. So in the middle of that, geologists are key stakeholders in this long-term sense of purpose. So bringing these objectives with UNESCO's agenda, most of you could be familiar, but I'm always very motivated to explain what we do as UNESCO to respond to these challenges. We have a program called UNESCO's International Geoscience and Geoparks Program. I'm sure most of you are aware of IGCP for very long years, but one of my objectives is really to promote this program to young scientists, early career scientists. We've been working since 1972 to harness the intellectual capacity of worldwide network of geoscientists. So we connect geoscientists. And our objective is for our planet's future, responsible and environmental resource extraction and exploration, natural hazards resilience and preparedness, and adaptability of the area of climate change. So this program exists for nearly 50 years. And since 2015, UNESCO recognized UNESCO Global Geoparks, which are learning laboratories showing examples of IGCP project activities in a natural local communities. So as of today, we have 169 UNESCO Global Geoparks in 44 member states. And at UNESCO, we are also working for the administration of these geoparks. So what is IGCP? I think most of you know, but I really want to clarify again that this has been established the 1972 in collaboration with International Union of Geological Sciences. Experts approached us and requested that UNESCO should also be focusing on geosciences. And since that date, in collaboration with IUGS, UNESCO brought these experts to Paris. The picture you have is UNESCO headquarters, to tackle global issues, understand important concepts, early years of plate tectonics and other aspects. So UNESCO led this program in collaboration with IUGS with their demand. So today, as you're almost a geologist, we are covering most part of our planet for the sustainable use of natural resources, which are extremely well connected with today's webinar, as well as geodiversity and protection of geoheritage with the connections of geohazard risk reduction. So please have a look at our website. We have a very extensive portfolio. You can see examples. And how we do that, we have a very big scientific community connection. So IGCP Council members are international global experts. They are selected for 4 years, and then they decide our vision, strategy, and priorities. And how we do that, every year we launch a call for proposals, and this is defined by the Council. based on today's global challenges, requirements, and the issues they would like to resolve, as well as special topics we define every year, again, in connection with our global new challenges and bringing new frontiers in geology to the light of the community. So these are all available in our websites. I'm not going to detail, and we try to really adapt to these challenges, call for proposals. And then what we do with our projects, our main priority is to enable early career scientists. So the funding the scientists obtain from UNESCO cannot be used for fundamental research, which should be covered by their institutions, but the fund of UNESCO is for field trips, mapping, sampling, conferences, and the development of early career scientists. So we have field training exchange opportunity, we provide early career scientists. So our real remit is to enable young scientists. And our program is getting bigger and bigger recently. Our funding increased substantially thanks to some private cooperations from South Korea. We have currently 57 projects led by 327 project leaders from 91 countries. So as I said, the gender priority being one of the center of our mandate and remit, 43% of our leaders are female scientists, and we are proud of that. So this is the map. This is our global map of IGCP community, project leaders, scientific board members, jointly. So we work with most of the world, and one of our objectives is to outreach these countries who are not blue. So if you're coming from these countries and you would like to join IGCP family, please feel free to connect me anytime. And on the left, you can see the gender participation. So call for proposals in our website with a deadline around September, October. All the details are there. So what is the connections with all this work with today's global agenda? So we've been working last 2 years to map this actually, how IGCP projects for 50 years jointly contributed to sustainable development goals. So if you could go to our website, you can see for each SDG, which IGCP project done what. And this is really our way of showing how geoscience and earth sciences, study of earth, are contributing to the SDGs, and how UNESCO specific projects are connected with that. This is available, and I would like to now bring your attention to the specific topic which we use, and which is the example, main example for SDG 2, Zero Hunger, is an IGCP 665, Sustainable Use of Black Soil and Critical Zones. So this project is led by global scientists from China, Poland, Greece, and Slovenia, with an extensive outreach, really showing how we map the black soil and how its distribution, its exploitation contributes to SDG 2. So this is an excellent example of how IGCP and the geochemistry community collaborating together to respond UN 2030 agenda. So I really welcome you to read this example, and please promote. And I also would like to thank Alekos and his team, Alekos and the extensive team, Professor Wang from China, leading this project and working with us. So this is a current example, but how did we get there? How IGCP was involved with the global geochemical mapping? So this goes to really long time ago, actually. I think some of you may know, but I'm sure there are young people in this webinar who were not around 1990. So we see that current IGC Commission and IGC Global Chemistry Mapping project goes to IGCP 259. So this project started in the early 90s and contributed a milestone book. It's called the Blue Book, and it's published by UNESCO. So UNESCO is the publisher of the first geochemical database, thanks to IGCP 259 and 360 project. And this never stopped. Since these dates, UNESCO supported and funded global geochemical baselines and mapping projects in collaboration with task commission. And this arrived the extremely important milestone for UNESCO at in 2013. UNESCO recognized a Category 2 center, global scale geochemistry in China. So this center is under the auspices of UNESCO and considered as part of UNESCO family, working closely with global scientists with the objective of global geochemistry mapping. So you can see that since 1972, UNESCO's contributions to the geoscience community connected with the IGCP projects arrived and brought us to this global center, which we are really happy. So this center, like many other Category 2 centers, are focusing maybe training on geochemical mapping technologies. So along with that, we are talking about the mapping. So we can't talk about global geochemistry mapping without thinking about geodiversity. So as we all know that geodiversity is the bedrock of biodiversity, the origin of our living, and brings us the extensive examples of how geological diversity is important for our living in this planet. So this was brought by high number of geological surveys. I'm sure they are part of today's meeting, and more than 100 scientific communities approaching us via UGS, requesting UNESCO to lead the Geodiversity Day. So this is accepted by proposed by 69 member states to UNESCO Executive Board. And last week, UNESCO General Conference recognized this day, which will be celebrated on the 6th of October every year. So I would like to invite you to join us with the celebration and follow our website for the events related to the International Geodiversity Day, and contact me for any time if you would like to know more about UNESCO's work and global geochemistry mapping and other activities and Geodiversity Day. So thank you again for inviting me this morning's webinar for you, afternoon for us. And please do contact me anytime. And I wish you a very successful meeting coming hours. Thank you. Bye.